Hey, fifth grade, happy Wednesday. I wanted to let you know I did pick a new mouse. Check this out. It's a basketball hoop or a basketball. I'm excited to see who picks the next one. This one's going to be really good. Let's jump into our classwork today. I have to tell you, on Monday, guys, we had the most work come in from fifth grade yet. I cannot wait for the day that we get 100% of us doing those assignments, but great job to everybody who got one in, especially if it was the first one you've done in a while. Let's stick to that routine, okay? All right, let's get right on into our Google Classroom and see what our assignment is going to be for today. As always, read the little message from me so that you can comment what you think about it. I loved hearing about the places you want to go on field trips on Monday and the cousins that you missed yesterday on Tuesday. I am missing my cousins a lot right now. I know you guys are too. Here is today's question. If you could pick and have 27 of anything fall out of the sky for you to get to keep it, what would you choose? Why 29? That's today's date. 4/29. Hit me up in the comments. I would choose 29 puppies. As you guys know, there might be a puppy in my house soon, and I will make sure he comes and is on YouTube as soon as he gets here, but I'm excited. It's a secret. All right, let's see what our classwork says for today. What are we going to start with? Yes, dear. That's correct, the do now. All right, Andrew, read that do now for us, please. Would you rather jump out of a plane or go scuba diving? Why? I personally have never done either of these things, and I think I would choose scuba diving. But my younger brother, Gordon, he has done scuba diving because he lives in Miami, and he says it's so cool. So I want to hear, what would you do? When you're finished writing 4 or more complete sentences, Mason, 4, then you can press play and we will start on vocabulary. All right, if you are pressing play, that means that you're ready to learn our next unit of words, which is Unit 13. Can you believe that? We are almost done with our study of vocabulary words for this school year. So I'm going to tell you all the words. We're going to practice saying them, and I'm going to suggest that you take some notes in your blue book to help you learn these words. First word, please say achievement. You already know what achievement means, so I don't even have to tell you. It's something done successfully, right? So it's a major achievement to do 5 days of work every day, get that A+. It's a major achievement to stick to your schedule. It's a major achievement to sleep at night and be awake during the day. These are all achievements. Number 2, please say acquire. Excellent. So to acquire means to get something as one's own. So right now, Mr. Todd is at the grocery store acquiring some fruits and vegetables. Number 3, please say debate. Now, you guys remember this word from when we were studying Esperanza, and we asked Yasir to become the president of the broccoli farm, and all the rest of us were his workers. We then debated back and forth with him about how much we should get paid and whether or not we were going to go on a strike. Do you remember that? Right. You also might remember that there have been debates that have happened earlier this year before coronavirus that were about who is going to be the Democratic candidate for president this fall. A debate is a discussion of reasons for and against something. So when you debate with someone, you go back and forth discussing something. To debate means to go back and forth discussing something. Word number 4 is exhibit. Please say exhibit. To exhibit something means to show it clearly on display. Word number 5, guys, this is such a good one. Your foe is your enemy, okay? So you have friends and you have foes. Foe means your enemy. Number 6, the word is ladder, not with D's like you climb up a ladder, but ladder with 2 T's, and it means closer to the end. I remember this because ladder kind of has the word late in it, and that reminds me about it. Word number 7, this is a very serious word. Please say massacre. You may have learned about the Boston Massacre this year in social studies with your social studies teachers. But when there is a massacre, it's a noun, and it means a lot of animals or people are getting killed at one time. It's very violent. The verb to massacre means to kill a lot of people or things at one time. Word number 8 says that it's a 5th grade word, but I know for a fact, guys, this is like an 8th grade word, and I can't wait for you to use it and blow everyone's mind around you. Please say monotonous. Let's do it again. Monotonous. Good. I can almost hear Anila. I know you're getting it, girl. Keep trying, okay? When something's monotonous, it's dull because it doesn't change in any way. So if our weather was just monotonously raining, it would be boring and dull. If a person speaks in a monotonous voice, that means that their voice never goes up or down and it's really boring to listen to, okay? That would be a great word for you to use. Word number 9 is preserve, which means to keep safe, to protect from ruin. Word number 10, sanitary. This matches really well with our current times because we're all doing extra sanitary practices, washing our hands. Don't forget to wash the back of your hands and in between your fingers. Sanitary has to do with health, being free of dirt and germs. Number 11, sprawl. This is a verb. When you sprawl out, that's that moment when you finish all your work and you sit on the sofa and you just lay down in a way that takes up all of the space, right? If you're trying to pick up your baby brother or baby sister and they don't want to pick up, they're going to like throw their body out, right? That's sprawling. And then number 12 is widespread. That's an adjective and it means that something's happening to a large group of people. So right now the impacts of the coronavirus are widespread. Go ahead and highlight in yellow that you just finished your vocabulary work, and then let's do some reading. Today we're reading page 290 to 299, and then you are going to answer the chapter 15 questions. Miss Carol, what happens if I answer one of the questions but not all of them? You don't get the credit, but also you're not going to be quite on the level of intellect that you need to be on for 6th grade. You're doing this for you, my friends, and never ever forget that. Meet me on page 290. They're in the woods right now. They're doing Ernie's 14th birthday. And I just have a feeling, guys, that something bad's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to involve Grandpa. I can't quite know for sure. But does anybody else have a feeling in their heart that something not so good's about to happen? Let's find out. We are going to meet on page 90, starting with what's that? Okay? What's that? Grandpop asked. Ernie spat. Nothing. He yanked the sunglasses off, folded the stems across each other, and slipped them into his back pocket. Oh, I remember. Ernie put his sunglasses on, and Crab said that he was being stupid. That upset Ernie, and it even hurt his feelings more. Crab was satisfied, and he proclaimed, "All right, then, showtime." He sort of snapped his wrist, and the cylinder of the gun popped open. He spun it, looking at all 6 bullets, and then slapped it closed again. For those 5 seconds, Crab was the coolest man alive, at least to Jeannie. Chick, chick, clack. What's that called, Jamil? Automatopoeia, there you go. Crab pulled back on the hammer and handed the gun, barrel facing the trees in front of them, very carefully to Ernie. All right, hold it with both hands. Now look down your sight and aim at that can. Jeannie had the absurd thought that the branch with the can sort of looked like it had just finished taking a sip and was asking another branch if it wanted to have a taste. Then he snapped out of it and thought about how cool all of this was. Man, did he want to try. Maybe they would let him try after Ernie. Keep your elbows bent just a little, but lock your wrists, Crab was saying. Lock my wrists? Yeah, keep your wrists tight. Crab held up a weird-looking fist to demonstrate what a tight wrist looked like, which, to Jeannie anyway, looked just like a regular wrist. Ernie held the gun up and turned towards the can. Jeannie studied Ernie. He studied his face and his eyes. Something was still off, and it wasn't just the fact that Ernie wasn't wearing his shades. Something else was off balance, out of whack. Hold on, Grandpop said out of the blue. That definitely threw Ernie off. He whirled around towards Jeannie and Grandpop, the gun aimed directly at them. The barrel looked as big as a cannon. Jeannie ducked, flinging his arms over his head. Jesus Christ, Crab said, pushing the barrel towards the ground. We just went over this, Ernie. Don't point at nobody, ever. Ernie looked embarrassed. I know, sorry. He had broken into a sweat. Guys, based on Ernie's behavior and the fact that he's sweating, how can we infer that he's feeling right now? Jeremiah. Yeah, I would say he's feeling really, really nervous. I agree with you. It's okay, son. My fault, Grandpop said. I just think one of us, Crab, needs to take a test shot. Show him how it's done. One of us? Crab scoffed. Yeah, us. Meaning me. I should get the first shot. Can anybody think of a reason that Grandpop shouldn't be shooting a gun right now? Yes, Bryn? Right, he's blind. He can't see. Why would he be shooting a gun? Grandpop smiled wide and weird, but nobody else did, especially not Jeannie, who had just had a gun aimed point blank at his head. He almost wanted to cry or puke. Bye-bye super hype. What are you talking about? Crab moved between the gun and Grandpop. Grandpop just kept smiling. Brooke, what are you talking about? Crab repeated slower and clearer. Crab, I just want to take a shot. It's been years since I've squeezed the trigger. Just one shot. The boys need to get used to the sound anyway. Just up in the air. Grandpop said it quietly. He said it calm. He took a brave step forward and reached for the gun. Crab caught Grandpop's hand, and by the look on Grandpop's face, Crab must have been gripping it pretty tight. Please, just one. These my grandsons, the only ones I got. Come on. Grandpop was half coaxed, half pleaded. His face was a strange mix of proud and wistful. Crab looked at him for what seemed to Jeannie to be forever, and then he let go of Grandpop's hand and took the pistol from Ernie. Boys, take 5 steps back. That way. Crab pointed towards the trail. Ernie and Jeannie stepped away. Okay, Brooke. Crab handed Grandpop the gun. Hell, it's your gun. One shot. Aim overhead, 12 o'clock. Then he took 1 step back. Just one. Crab took 1 step back. The way Grandpop held the gun, it was like it was made to fit in his hand. Like he was born to shoot. So normal. Nothing like how Ernie looked. Grandpop stood there for a second, just holding his pistol. Then, out of nowhere, he thrust his arm straight up in the air. Chick, chick, clack, went the hammer. Boom! Oh my! Jeannie felt like he was standing in the middle of a thunderclap. His bones rattled in his body, and his ears pulsed as if his heart had somehow jumped into them. As soon as he heard the second click, his fingers seemed to plug them on their own accord. Then again, boom! You said one! Crab yelled, grabbing the 6-shooter. Grandpop laughed, a laugh that Jeannie had never heard from him. It was a real laugh, like a kid's laugh. I know, but an old man can change his mind, can't he? Crab waved Ernie back over. Let's do this thing before your Grandpop tries to take over your birthday. He held the revolver by the barrel so that Ernie could grab the grip. Let's do it. Ernie took the gun again and got back in the same uncomfortable-looking stance that he was in the first time. Now remember, keep your elbows a little bent and your wrists tight for the kickback. Aim at the can, and when you got it, squeeze the trigger. Ernie looked a little shaky, almost like the gun had suddenly gotten too heavy for him. But he held it up anyway, and he looked through the sight. Wait, Grandpop said. Crab flung his arms up in the air in frustration. Now what? Brooke, just let the boy shoot. I will, soon as he holds the gun right. Brooke, you can't even see. He is holding the gun right. No, he's not. I can tell by the way he's breathing. The gun is tipping because his wrist ain't steady. I can hear it. Grandpop then told Ernie, Son, lock your wrists as if you were arm wrestling. He held his own hand up to demonstrate. Ernie blew breath like he always did when he was irritated. He lifted the gun again, locking his wrists and then unlocking them. He closed his left eye to aim, which made his lip curl to one side. Sweat dripped down his forehead. He licked his lips and swallowed. The gun seemed to be kind of vibrating in Ernie's grip. Jeannie could tell that Ernie wasn't holding the gun as tight as he was supposed to, but Jeannie wasn't sure that he could. Maybe the gun was too heavy. But it wasn't just that. Something was off, different about him. For the first time ever, Jeannie could tell that his brother was scared. Really scared. An airplane flew over them low. Grandpop clamped Jeannie's shoulders with both hands. Genie put his fingers back in his ears and he got ready for the boom. What he should have done was put his hands over his eyes. Boom! The revolver jumped back, smacking Ernie right in the face and then flying out of his hands. Ernie's knees buckled as if someone had just sucker punched him. He staggered backwards, slamming his hands over his mouth, and then crashed to the ground. Then the airplane was gone, and Genie could hear him. Ernie was screaming. Jesus, Ernie! Crab rushed over. Grandpop dug his fingers into Genie's shoulders so hard that it felt like he was going to break them. Crab, what happened? What's going on? He cried out. Genie yanked away from him and ran over to his brother. Ernie was on the ground now, rolled into a ball, rocking back and forth. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Had he shot himself? Had he missed the cannon, hit a tree, and the bullet had ricocheted? Ernie! Genie screamed. Ernie, are you okay? Crab was asking. He was on his knees, trying to look into Ernie's face. Crab, what the hell happened? Grandpop demanded, arms outstretched like a zombie. Crab! Genie! It hurts so bad. Ernie was bawling now. Crab was trying to ease Ernie's hands from his face, trying to see what was the matter. Ernie fought him, shouting over and over again. It hurts so bad. It hurts. It hurts. Genie was kneeling now too. And then Crab finally got Ernie's hands down. That's when they saw the blood pouring from the sides of his mouth, down his cheeks, and into the grass. Oh, God, please, don't let this be happening. This can't be happening. This can't be, Genie prayed. Crab! Grandpop bellowed, dropping onto his knees as well. He started crawling towards them on all fours. Brooke, the gun kicked back, Crab finally told him. Recoil. He didn't have it tight enough. It must have slipped and it hit him in the face. Genie started crying. The only thing he could think of to do was pull his t-shirt off to sop up the blood with. But before he could even try, Crab pushed his arm away. Back up, son, he told him. But Genie didn't want to back up. This was his brother. His brother. Back up, Genie, Crab barked. Genie! Grandpop was slapping at the ground in front of him, trying to find exactly where his grandsons were. Genie grabbed his arm. Crab started asking Ernie a bunch of stupid questions. What's your name? Who's your brother? Where are you from? How many fingers am I holding up? Does anybody know what those questions are? Yeah, those are the questions that somebody might ask you to see if you have a concussion from getting hit in the head really hard. Grandpop inched closer and started gently prodding Ernie's face, feeling, Genie suspected, for any changes, like swelling or broken bones. But Ernie whipped his face away. So Grandpop began bombarding Crab with what Genie decided were definitely better questions. Do you think he has a concussion? Is his nose broken? What about his jaw? What about his teeth? Crab tried to get Ernie to stand. At least his howling had calmed down to a low moan. Blood soaked the collar of his t-shirt. Teeth, Grandpop repeated, more worried. Ernie, now on one knee, heaved like he was going to throw up, or like he was choking on something. Then he spit out 3 little rocks, one by one, like pumpkin seeds. His teeth. Then he started howling again. Looks like, yeah, he lost 3, right from the front, Crab said, picking each tooth up off of the ground. He grabbed a beer bottle from the bag that he brought and put the teeth in it, then gave Genie the bottle while he helped Ernie to stand up. Ernie cried even harder as he got to his feet, so Genie cried harder too. Ernie covered his mouth, trying to keep some of the cry in. Genie covered his own mouth for the same reason. It was the worst game of Pete and repeat that they had ever played. Wow, guys. That didn't go very well, did it? I'm excited to see the excellent responses you guys are going to do for these comprehension questions, and I can't wait to start reading the next chapter tomorrow to find out if Ernie's going to be okay, if they're going to be able to save his teeth and put them back in, to find out what Dad's going to say when he finds out, find out what Grandma's going to say. Intense. What I'd like you to do now, respond to these questions, all of them, and then write 4 more sentences telling me how you're feeling. Remember, if you don't remember the answer to one of the comprehension questions right off the top of your head, You can always look back in the book to find it, but all of these books, all of these questions will be answered in the book, okay? All right. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Please feel free to send me a text message or a Jupiter message or give me a call if you want to check in. But I know that you guys are doing a really good job with your Ely East work, and I want you to keep that. Bye.